trip back to OKC. Shout out to the Skirvin Hotel. Can't wait to see you again. Back here in the Frostbank Center, hanging out with the Hall of Famers on the court. And listen, the Spurs fans are still in here celebrating. I think they're starting to try to move them out. Maria Taylor, Carmelo Anthony, Vince Carter, and Tracy McGrady here with you. Well, the one thing that we said was Victor Wembanyama has to have a statement game. That's exactly what he did. 22 points in that first half. We saw a huge run by the Spurs to close out the third quarter, a 22-0 run, and ultimately that set up a victory in a huge way, T-Mac, for the Spurs in Game 6.
We said it. What had to be done was done tonight, and that's Wemby coming out, being aggressive. Attack, attack, attack. This team goes as Wemby goes, and we seen that in Games 1. We saw that in the example of Game 4. Now we seen that again tonight. So that tells you there's 3 games that you won where Wemby has been aggressive, been attacking often and early and often, and the result comes out to a victory for San Antonio. That's the recipe. He has to know that, and I'm sure his guys, the veteran guys, are talking to him and really telling him that. HB, you can see him on the bench having that conversation with him, just standing in his ear and letting him know how important he is to this team and what needs to be done.
Devin Vassell too. Devin Vassell told him, calm down, chill out. We got this. We still got to play the right way. But I want to give a shout out to Wemby, right? Because we was on Wemby. We said Wemby had to be transcendent. And tonight, his leadership to me as a young player in this league, showing that he can lead this team, showing that he can lead this team here on this home court in front of this crowd, showing that he can force a Game 7. That was special to watch tonight. And also, he took away a lot of things from OKC. OKC, their body language today wasn't up to par for me. They didn't look and come out like it was a Game 6 on the road.
Well, they couldn't get them shots. They couldn't get the normal shots.
But we like the vibe. We like the energy when we see a team just going through. I don't want to say going through the motions, but just they look one step slow today. They look one step slow, like they was ready to get this to OKC Game 7. But Wemby's leadership today was top notch, and big shout out to Wemby for that.
When you want to build your legacy, you come out with 22 and 10 in 28 minutes. In 28 minutes, and that means he's taking care of business. He didn't waste any time. He didn't play his way into it. He started the game off hot. In the green room, I looked at y'all like, here we go. Y'all didn't believe me, but here we go. And that's what you need. Now, how do you bottle that up and take that on the road? Because Game 7 on the road in OKC, we know how those fans are. You have to find a way. There's no excuses now. Oh, I'm tired. You only played 28 minutes. You did your work. Now, right now, it's preparing for Game 7 starts right now.
Yeah, now the Spurs are 7-1 when Wemby scores at least 25 points in the postseason, so it really does depend on him. I think what we've been missing is the back-to-back games from Wemby, so we'll see if we can get that. But first, let's get into what we saw from Shea, and I want to know what the Spurs did to really bottle him up, lowest shooting or scoring output, and ultimately field goal percentage so far in this series.
Well, again, they was triple teaming, double teaming Shea. They like to send him right now. The game plan against Shea is to send him right. And you can tell Shea's been focused on getting right and making plays going right. Shea, at the end of the day, tonight was a quiet night for him. But overall, Shea's been very effective in this series. He's been efficient in this series. He's been carrying his team. It's just tonight. The Spurs came out, and they were more dominant. They were more ready to play tonight than OKC. Here's where we're going to see the back-to-back MVP.
No, here's where you're going to see Stephon Castle because he's stepping right on up to the plate. There he is. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Is that what desperation looks like when your back's against the wall in an elimination game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, y'all stood up strong. Like, talk to us about what the conversation was coming off of Game 5, what didn't look like anyone's best, to perform the way that you guys did here tonight to keep your season rolling?
Yeah, I mean, just trying to limit our mistakes and don't try and think too far ahead. We know we had to handle this game first before anything, and we felt like we knew our backs were against the walls, and if we punched them in the mouth first, that they were going to lay down.
My question to you is, you're guarding a 2-time MVP. That's a tall task. You're a young fella in this league, but the fearless mindset you have. When you're watching film on Shea, and you don't have to give us your game plan because we don't want that out there, but when you watching film, what do you see that you can apply on the floor that works for you?
I mean, just using my frame to my advantage. You know, if I know if he can't bump me off my spot, then I can get a good contest on, you know, most of his shots and just try and make it tough on him. But I mean, just trying to send him to my help. You know, I feel like it's my you know, it's my assignment, but I feel like it's a team defense that's been making it really tough on him.
After Game 5, you said you wanted to see more from Wemby. You need Wemby to be more aggressive. Tonight, he did that. What do you see the difference in Wemby tonight was?
I just think the way he came out aggressive in that mindset, whether he was making or missing shots. I just think he didn't leave anything, you know, on the floor. I think just the way he came in the locker room and kind of set the tone for us. I feel like it spread an energy throughout our whole locker room, and I feel like that's why we came out like that.
After Game 5, next morning watching film, what was said by the players, not the coaches? Because I know the coaches are going to always have something to say. What was said by the players about what needed to be done in preparation for the game tonight? This is backs against the wall, like you've said, we've heard. But what was said, like, to motivate everybody? Because before you answer that, Wemby walked in his outfit, and that told us everything.
Right.
But what was said leading to that?
I just think, I mean, as a group, I mean, we all want this. I mean, it's right there in front of us, and I mean, we feel like collectively that we're better than this team, and I mean, we didn't want to let our fans down on our home court either. So coming out here with a chance to go back in OKC and play a Game 7, I feel like that's all the motivation you need.
I'm curious, your coach calls you an attack dog. And one of the things we talk about, just being a young player, like balancing aggression but staying disciplined throughout what is about to be a 7-game series. How do you view that? How do you balance it? Because it's such a big part of your game, just being aggressive.
Yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's tough. I mean, I want to be aggressive. You know, I want to impose my will on the game. But I know, especially playing against these guys, just especially as a young player, it's kind of hard to take in, you know, trying to take something away from your game. But, I mean, you got to do it for the team at the end of the day. So I feel like it's better to have me on the court and try and make an impact that way than, you know, try and impose my will on the game.
I love the mindset.
I know,
I love it.
By the way, I've been waiting for you to get up here because I needed a down South Georgia boy to show up. We got all these folks from all over the place. I haven't been able to celebrate, so thank you for joining us. Bye, guys.
Of course.
A little bit of Georgia love.
A little bit, just a little bit of
Georgia
something.
love.
Bouncing back from San Antonio to Oklahoma City. This guy's from Covington, Georgia, went to Newton High School. All right, let's go back to the podium, check in with the media, and hear what's being said post-game from Victor Wembanyama, Stephon Cassell's teammate.
Vic, to your right, what did you feel like the biggest difference between last game and this game was for you personally?
Myself? Trusting the game plan, discussing tactics with the staff and teammates.
Before the game, you gathered the whole team like on the court and gave them a speech. Just what did you say in that speech, and how do you feel like you guys carried that out early in the game?
I don't remember.
You just black out, kind of.
Victor, this Saturday in OKC, it's do or die for your team. What is the first thing that comes to your mind when you think about Game 7?
First thing is listening to, the experienced people, whether it's on our team, on our staff, or outside. We got the chance to have plenty of those around.
Vic, what did you think about the way you guys met the moment in tonight's do-or-die ball game?
I think we were consistent and we did what we needed to do. Trusted the game, trusted the basketball gods.
Speaking of meeting the moment, Dylan looked like his normal self tonight. What did you see from him, and how relaxed was he mentally in this game?
I don't know how relaxed he was. Everybody approaches games, especially this type of games, differently. But the result was definitely there and impressive as always.
Vic, how impressed were you with your team's effort defensively, especially Carter and some of the minutes that he was able to give tonight?
The effort? It was great. I mean, should be consistent, always the same, but it was great.
After last game is that you guys have played really well when playing desperate. And so I guess the question is, what does playing desperate look like to you? And when both teams, I mean, obviously everyone's playing hard in the playoffs, but game
Just
7.
feels like it erases kind of all the little mistakes that we do that are human nature, whether it's in the regular season or previous games. We just got to fight that all the time. And when your back's against the wall, it feels like it's the best opportunity to do that.
Victor, just talk about just the offensive flow. It seemed like y'all did a nice job moving, and another defense led to the offense. But just talk about just the offense that y'all had tonight.
Excuse me?
Just the offense that you had tonight, just the flow.
We played together, we passed the ball, and trusted the game plan as always.
Just talk about the defense in that third quarter. Y'all outscored them 20-2 during a stretch. They scored 2 points in the final 8 minutes. Lockdown defense. Just talk about that.
I think we need to be consistent, and we're definitely This is us scoring them 20-2 is not a realistic projection that we want to do. But when we get everything together, these moments are going to happen, and the key is to stay consistent.
Moments. And live on Peacock. All right, let's take a look at the superstars. The two-time MVP Shai Gilgeous-Alexander against Wemby. Basically, whichever star scores the most, that team wins. The one exception, obviously, when they both scored 26 points in Game 3, that went to OKC, and in large part because the bench played so well. They scored 76 points. But this is the first time so far this series that the Spurs bench has actually outscored OKC, and they need every single point to do that. But Wemby was certainly the aggressor in this game, BC.
I mean, he did what he's supposed to do, and that was attack early. One thing I talked about is when you have your opportunity to get into the paint on Hartenstein, do so. You see there, he was aggressive early. This is the first play. Get into the paint. It's not there. Get to your fadeaway. Here's another one. Get to your step back. A la Shai. Shai likes to get to his left for the step back 3, knocks it down. Being in attack mode. Now, he only had 2 assists, but at the same time, I love to see when he gets the rebound, pushing the pace. The defense is trying to get set. They're not. Aaron Fox is able to be the recipient of an easy play, and then we know what he does defensively, particularly taking this challenge here. He's on the 1-on-1. He blocks the shot without fouling. They're able to get out, get in transition. And then the obvious, like you said, Mac, if you're not hitting shots, I love to see you in the paint where that play is there more times than not because of just your height in general. Because when a little guard or, some of the forwards, you throw it up.
You can't get that.
You can't get that.
You can't.
You can't get that.
You couldn't get that.
Yeah, don't let him do you like that.
What you mean? I'm not
I'd have been able to go get it.
throwing it up to the top of the backboard.
You tried, though. You ought to try.
Off a standing vert? Nah.
But I will say this. Although, we want Wemby to be aggressive. Yeah. And that was aggression, tonight. But it was from the perimeter. Us, we like to see it inside. It worked tonight.
So you're saying
Game
free throw
7.
below.
I'm saying free throw or below. Game 7 is going to be a different story.
Okay. Yeah.
And here's why. Well, I think Wemby should start inside, because if you start out here and that shot is not falling, it's an avalanche going the other way. And that's what the Thunder feed off of. Long rebounds, transition, and you get that crowd going in there.
Threes and dunks.
And you might look just how they open up the third quarter, 20-0 run.
Good.
That could very well happen. So for me, it's got to be a slow pace with Wemby inside, controlling that, getting that tempo and establishing that inside, and then he can step out. I just don't want, to take this blueprint and
apply it to
Game
7, not on the road. It doesn't feel the same.
Well, not starting that way. I think early, like you said, establish yourself in the post. And it doesn't have to be Wemby going down, fighting, getting to it. Get him on the run.
Just
get him
below
on the
the
move.
free throw.
Just however you can get him touches in the post, and then from there he plays one-on-one, or he makes plays out of the post. But I agree. Game 5, he got the floating. The jump shot didn't work, and then when he tried to get down into the paint, they weren't allowing, and the mentality now was kind of gone because he wasn't making shots.
Right.
And offensively, Defensively, Wemby is as elite as we ever seen. Offensively, he has some things he has to work on because for me, when you're 7'4", and he has a high release point on his shot. Nobody should be able to bother his shot. So when you're playing below that free throw line, and I watched him tonight, he's not really comfortable with his back to the basket. And the reason I'm saying that, because if he's playing with his back to the basket, turnaround jumper, nobody can affect that.
No.
Or
right?
jump
And
hook.
we don't see that a lot out of him. No one can affect a shot by Wemby if he has his back to the basket and turn around fadeaway jumper like we used to do. You can't do anything about it.
Again, I'm going to go back to Wemby being aggressive in Game 7. When the Spurs come out the way that they came out here at home and go up 15 and go up 20 and come out with a third quarter, 22, you run like that in the third quarter, that's what you need on the road. Now, I'm not saying 20-2 on the road, but if you could come out and put a couple of those runs together on the road,
you're going to
give yourself an opportunity
to
win that game in OKC. Again, we talk. Came out today off the bench, gave him a spark. It was a great game for Dylan to get out of whatever he was dealing with, whether it was injury, it probably was affecting him mentally. He came out ready to play. He's a big part of why the Spurs won this Game 6. In Game 7, anything goes now. Whoever won it. This was between.
Come get it.
This is Shea versus Wemby, Game 7. There's nobody else I want to talk about but Shea and Wemby in Game 7 because the stars are got to come out and shine.
I also want to talk about this real quick because we were on him early in this series where it was just something that we never seen with turnovers. It's talking about Stephon Castle.
Absolutely.
Tonight, he took care of the basketball with being aggressive and staying aggressive, and he had 9 assists with that 1 turnover. So he's going to have to carry that over into Game 7
That's
as well.
been like the last 3 games.
Yeah.
He's cleaned it up.
And the last thing I'd say, you know you're doing well when you win the bench points.
Yeah.
You win by 8, 46-38, which is important, I think, for the Spurs because, yes, whatever happens with your starting unit, it's when Wemby sits down is always the question mark. If your bench comes in, obviously led at 18 points by Dylan Harper, but if your bench can come in and get you points, 46 points at that, you're going to have a chance on the road.
Yeah. And I would like to allude on this. When you're in a slugfest like this, you need J-Dub.
Yeah.
You need A.J. Mitchell because those are the guys that you need to come out there and give you a break. Shea have to do everything in these past couple games. Right. He got to bring the ball up. He got to score. He got to find guys. Now, this is what you're supposed to do. But a lot of times when you had J-Dub, when you have A.J. Mitchell, they take a lot of that pressure off of Shea.
Yeah,
and you just see they're missing that right now. OKC is missing those 2 guys.
Yeah, and we had seen Alex Caruso basically be that guy stepping up. He was the second leading scorer for OKC right behind Shea, but he just has 7 points in this game. But coming into it, 85 points throughout the series. He had only scored 61 through the first 2 rounds, so he had been very important. This is the first time in the postseason that OKC did not lead at all in a game, and that's since 2016.
Wow.
Yeah, so a decade.
They're human.
Oh.
Mark Dagnall, some more adjustments to be made as we get ready for Game 7. He's at the podium now.
Mark, despite a hot start for them, you got the game to a manageable place by the end of the first half. What did you feel out there in the third quarter during their 18-0 run?
Yeah, halftime, we felt pretty good. They had 11 threes. They kind of had the wind at their back, and we were able to get it to a very manageable spot. By the end of the half, there were a couple times in the first half where that could have gotten away from us the way that it did in the third, and it didn't. So we had a chance to turn the game, but you got to turn the game. You can't wait for the game to turn, and they came out and obviously threw a great punch in the third and got the game out of reach for us.
What was kind of it like to be able to have J-Dub back, and what did you just experience, I guess, getting him back and getting him into the rotation?
Yeah, it was a unique situation. Ever since he got hurt, he's been hell-bent on trying to get himself to this point. I give him a lot of credit. He's a big-time team guy. He's a big-time competitor. He's obviously not 100%. He didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what to expect. So it was a matter of getting him out there in kind of an insulated role and see what he could bring to the team. But again, he's an all-star player. He's an all-NBA player. That again, he hasn't done like a full return to play the way that he would if this was the regular season, and yet he just wants to do whatever he can to try to contribute whatever he can to the team. So I give him a lot of credit. to get himself out there. He did the best he could. Certainly not the reason we lost. We had a lot go wrong tonight, but it was great to have him back and back available.
Mark, you've talked at different times this postseason about this group being pretty cognizant themselves of their history with Game 3s, and that you didn't even need to really step into that conversation in this postseason. But Game 6 is a pretty similar history with this group. What makes this game so difficult to win, and why did you think they couldn't really correct that history tonight?
I don't know. I think it's hard to win a playoff game, period, against anybody. It's hard to win a playoff game against a great team. It's hard to win a playoff game against a great team on the road. It's hard to win, really any Game 6 in that situation. So I don't know that it was necessarily anything, we did wrong. I thought we were ready to play. I felt confident going into the game. And I felt confident, like I said, at halftime. It had the makings of a road win if we could be the team that threw the punch in the third. And they were the team that did that, which is why they won the game.
You talked before about when Dub comes back, he's just itching to get back out there. Can you kind of speak to what you've seen out of him these past few days in terms of that, but also how he's finding that balance between, understanding when is the right time rather than just rushing it?
He's been questionable for all these games, and he's warmed up, and he's been on the doorstep, and it's just a matter of how he feels before the game in combination with the people on our side. Like I said, there's a lot of stakeholders in a situation like that. It's a very unique situation. Everybody was on the same page, understood how we wanted to handle it, and we handled the situation as best we could. But again, I don't want any of the details of that to overshadow what a big-time competitor this guy and a big-time team guy. He's not waiting until he feels pristine. He just wants to be a part of it, just wants to help the team, and I give him a ton of credit for that.
Mark, following up on Joel's question, with the Game 6s, well, you won a Game 7 versus Denver versus Indiana. Is that sort of a positive that you can glean from this game, just knowing that you guys have bounced back from, a bad Game 6 before?
Yeah, we've had a lot of experiences to this point. And the one thing that we've learned more than anything is every game has a new life. Every game is earned, if you want to win it. Game 7 will be no different. This is obviously a quality opponent. We have to play obviously a lot better than we did tonight. And we understand that from a number of experiences. So, we'll get off our feet tomorrow. We'll get some rest and recovery, learn from the tape, take the lessons from tonight that are relevant for Game 7, and be ready to go out there and throw our best punch.
All right, man.
Shea said the lessons are louder when you lose. That's for OKC to figure out for Game 7. And we still don't know who exactly will be in the NBA Finals, but take a look at the early odds at Finals MVP from DraftKings Sportsbook. Despite the lowest scoring output of the season tonight, just 15 points, SGA is still the favorite to win a second straight Finals MVP.
Did Mel hit tonight?
Sister Shea had. Would you ask for 7? You said
Game 7 gonna be amazing.
Wow.
I can't wait for Game 7.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
You really got to get one. You really got to get one. Or you going to have to come to football night in America. You have to come do something.
Shout out to DraftKings, man.
You're coming to week 1.
Shout out.
They love Melo. Melo. He's going to have a long-standing relationship, boy.
Let's go back to let's go inside the locker room. Mitch Johnson addressing his team after this huge win.
As you've done all year, competitive response, reflection of character, and when it's swayed or hasn't been as consistent as we want, you have found our standard, you have found the level of execution, and you found the togetherness we needed. And I think now, rewinding all the way back in October when we first had our meeting in the theater, if someone had a crystal ball and said, you'd be sitting there Game 7 on the road in the Western Conference Finals in Oklahoma City, we'd be pretty damn fired up. That's the opportunity you've earned. It's a hell of a job.
You guys work all year to have these Game 7s at home. Just, how important is that, just to go back home and, have this final game?
Yeah, 100%. People say regular season games only matter so much, but this is exactly why they do matter. We saw it twice last year. And, you know, we were able to fight all regular season for the right to play any Game 7 at home. And, you know, and now it comes down to this.
Was the preparation and mindset necessary for Game 7?
Yeah. You know, I feel like at this point in the series, there's no huge reworks and changes. You know, there's going to be, you know, stuff that the coaches give us before the game, and we have to key in on what they give us and what we need to do out there. And then at the end of the day, it's just leave everything out there. You know, because it's Game 7. You know, it's like there's nothing to save anything for, if that makes sense.
You guys spoke entering the series about enjoying facing this level of competition, being tested. And you're 6 games in, going to 7. Can you speak to just the total group effort it is taking, and this is pushing you guys to?
Yeah, no. You know, you don't. You know, you can either love winning or love competing, and you know, it's really. You know, this series is all about competing. You know, you can't go out there and be lackadaisical and, you know, just there's no guaranteed win in this series. You know, you have to go out there and grit out and grind for every single win, and, you know, that's what we have an opportunity to do.
Anything else?
But to hold the defending champs to 13 third-quarter points, I mean, what kind of effort did that take?
Obviously, we went on a big run that quarter. I think it was 20-2 or something like that. Vic was great. Steph was great. I think everybody was just locked in. A lot of our rotations were on point. I think as a team, we kind of felt the tide turning. So we knew that, you know, that was a point where it's like, all right, well, we could play around with the game and let them stay in the game, or finish them off and, you know, have a relaxed fourth quarter. So I think that was kind of the biggest thing for us, was just let's get it done now and get ready for the next one.
Julian, I'm curious what you saw from this big fella from like after Game 5 to today. You know, he chooses not to talk to us after the game. A big deal was made out of that. He seemed pretty frustrated. You know, then shows up in the chalet robe before the game. Like, what kind of does that send the message that he's ready to rock? Like, what did you see from him?
I think he was just more assertive today. That's all it was. Honestly and truly, you know, obviously for us, we think he's the best player in the world. I think he's the best player in the world. I think, you know, he should know that. He should feel that. I just think today he came out and the shots that he took were the ones that he wanted to take. You know what I'm saying? Even if it was a three, a couple early threes, he shot them like he wanted them. Worked his way towards the basket, ran the floor, rebounded. He was hitting first. He was being physical. And I think he just showed his dominance the whole night.
Did he move like himself between games in terms of just being vocal and not vocal, or did he get quiet, or maybe like how did
I mean, he was himself. Obviously, the game we lost in OKC Game 5 was a tough one for all of us. You know, we wanted to go in there and get that one and have an opportunity to close it on our home court. Yep. And it just didn't go that way. Watching the film back, we all knew that the game was a rough one in a lot of ways for all of us. Right. So I think, you know, it's natural to be frustrated after a game like that, and him probably, you know, wanting to play better. That's just who he is as a person. But it didn't change his approach, his personality, who he is as a person. He came in here, was the same guy, smile on his face, leader of the team, did his thing.
So he did his thing. So did Dylan Harper, the rookie. 18 points in this one. Remember, the previous 2 games, he had just 3 field goals made. And in this one, he goes 6 for 9 in 22 minutes, gets to those 18 points. And that was huge for this squad that needed to use their bench. And for the first time, they actually outscore OKC. I feel like we haven't spent enough time talking about when OKC had the chance to close out this series, this was the opportunity for them. And they didn't do it. And I'm going to come to you first, T-Mac, because you love to get on a stoop and let us know what went wrong.
Well, I think when you look at this...
You just ate it, too.
Well, I'm on the stoop.
Just on the stoop.
I think when you look at this team in San Antonio, obviously they're led by Wemby. And when Wemby goes, San Antonio Spurs goes. I mean, it's just his energy and what he brings to the game is infectious to his teammates. But I'm looking ahead to Game 7, and we really haven't discussed this.
Okay.
Like, do we really think San Antonio, with 2 rookies coming off their bench and Dylan and Carter Bryant that plays significant minutes, to go into OKC and perform in a Game 7?
We gonna find out.
Anything can happen in Game 7. That's why you don't want that to happen.
It can happen, but that's why that pressure is on Wemby. Because you have 2 rookies coming off your bench in a Game 7 to go against a Caruso, Casey Wallace, these guys that are battle tested, right? And they understand what a Game 7 at this stage feels like. So it's a it's a wait and see how these guys perform.
Back like that. I never heard him like
I don't know.
It's a wait and see for me. I'm going with OKC in Game 7, but it's a lot of pressure
I'm
on
gonna give you
these
some
young
time.
fellas.
Don't worry, I'll ask you right before the game. If you
I'm
wanna
going with
change your mind, if you
OKC.
wanna
I
change
mean,
your mind,
I'm
you got
already
time.
putting it out. It's just two rookies coming off your bench. They have to be superb in a Game 7 in a hostile environment. Man, that's tough.
But the one thing that I have to say that is going in the favor of the Spurs is that they now believe. You know, we've been punched, we've been knocked down, we fought back to this. I think Stephon Castle said we feel like we're the best team.
Yeah.
We feel like we're the best team. Like it wasn't like we're giving ourselves a chance. We feel like we're the best team.
Yeah.
We looked at the film and said, nah, that's unacceptable. So the difference between what happened in Game 5 and Game 6, they're going to have to.
Don't say watch film.
Be aware of it. Okay. No, not that. Okay. Be aware
X's
of it.
and O's is out the
and,
window.
Yeah, and you're going to have to fix that because when you get on that plane, like it's nothing else matters. Yeah. Nothing else matters but Game 7 and your preparation for that. And if you're not ready to go, like as a vet like Harrison Barnes and Fox, you see a guy not ready, I'm saying, hey, coach, nah. Like he's not, like you have to give everything you have for this because if you win this game, your dream comes true as a basketball player. You know, you get the chance to play in the NBA Finals.
What? No, say that again. You get a chance to play.
You get a chance to play in the
NBA. Say that again. Say that again.
We're not talking about
during the NBA Finals.
Right. NBA Finals, baby. No, their bench. We go back to the bench. I know I said this is Wemby's and this is Shea's show. The bench. Which bench is going to come out focused, energized, ready to go? And tonight we saw San Antonio's bench. They was ready. Everybody was ready on San Antonio. And it just seemed like OKC's bench just couldn't figure it out. It was happening too quick for them. I think Game 7 will be the battle of the benches. I think OKC bench will come ready to play. I think Caruso will have a really good game. I think Lou Dort will shoot the ball better than he did in this game today. I think Isaiah Joe is going to play extra minutes. I think Coach Dago is going to give you something that we haven't seen thus far in this series. And if you got a card in your pocket, Coach, this is the time to go out there and play that card.
You know that what I think the X factor is? When you sit Wemby. I mean, plain and simple, because when we've seen
Wemby
playing 45,
he got to play 40.
But that's the X factor. That's why I said
this
that.
Game 7,
like,
bro.
When it's like, okay, you play to exhaustion, then I'm sitting you down. But just because you're at the 7-minute mark, typically when he sits down, that's not tonight, big fella. You better, when timeouts, you go get your breath. Other than that, I just feel like that's the X factor because we've seen things change.
I want to see OKC put together a 48-minute game. They haven't had a 48-minute game yet. They've been coming out down 15. They've been coming out down 17. Halftime, they come out 22 run. I want to see OKC put together a really great game that we haven't seen.
That's scary,
so
though,
far.
man. This is Game 7. We need a good game.
So what if it happens?
we don't need a blowout.
Maybe they were saving it for Game 7. I feel like every time a team wins, it seems like they will never lose again. This is like the best Spurs team we've ever seen, and they should be in the NBA. We've seen OKC do the same
weird
thing.
Series.
Right?
You can't figure this one out.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
I think for OKC, they know how to play in chaos. Can San Antonio play in chaos? We've seen OKC play in chaos. And for me, I trust the team, the championship pedigree of a team that has played in chaos to perform well in Game 7. And on top of that, they got the best closer, man.
Yeah.
They got the best closer. And someone that is poised, he hasn't had a great series, but he's showing how great he really is.
Truly.
His defense is stifling. Like, they're on him. The game plan is to slow down Shea every night.
Yeah.
And he's performing well. Like, he's struggling a little bit, but overall, his impact on the game is still felt.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all's zealousness to continue to talk about this game. But eventually we do have to get on a plane. So
I'm ready for Game 7.
I got to get back to Shea, okay?
Gotta let
You
everybody
mentioned,
know.
right, the suffocating defense. Worst scoring game and plus-minus for Shea here in
Shea,
Game
it seemed
6,
like you
addressing
guys
the media
had
now.
Things in kind of a manageable spot heading into halftime. just felt off or not quite there in the third quarter?
Yeah, they just punched, and we didn't punch back. They were the aggressors tonight, from start to finish. They played harder than us, made more shots, were more aggressive. Like, we're in attack mode, and we were on our heels. Like you said, we kept it in a manageable spot, but the second half, it just blew out of proportion.
Shay, you guys get Dub back, but I know he's probably limited minutes-wise. What's it like just having him back on the court and trying to get him going, heading into hopefully a Game 7 that he can play?
Yeah, it's good to have him back. Yeah, we just got to find spots for him to play with, like you said, the limited time he's getting. But it's always good to have a guy like that back.
Shay, statistically, these last 4 games, this is as tough of a shooting funk as you've been in, really, since you've become a star. What do you think are the factors there, and how can you get back to your norm in Game 7?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. A lot of the shots that I'm shooting, I've shot plenty of times before, and they feel good. They're just not going in. But yeah, it's too late to abandon my work and abandon my game and who I am. This late in the season, I got to trust it and live or die by it.
You guys obviously haven't lost a lot in these playoffs, but when you have lost, you've been able to respond. Why do you think you guys have been able to respond as well as you have the losses?
Yeah, we're just a motivated group, and we accept the challenge ahead. Like, every game is going to present a different challenge, and obviously when you lose, it hurts a little more, and there's a little bit extra motivation, and we tend to fight a little bit harder.
What's your comfort level knowing Game 7's back at home?
Honestly, anything can happen in a Game 7. Like, it's win or go home. It being in your building is nice, but like it doesn't really mean anything. Like, you have to go out there and be the better basketball team, or else your season's done, and that's what it comes down to. Now it's gonna be nice having our fans behind us and cheering us, but we got to go out there and be better, and if we're not better, our season will be over.
I mean, continue to approach games the way that we've approached all these games. Obviously, you win and lose games, but I think when we had the right approach, we've given ourselves a chance to win. So you don't want to change, any of that. It's still an NBA playoff game, and refs are probably going to want to swallow their whistle a little bit more. But at the end of the day, like I said, we go out there and we play the way that we know that we can play. Continue to be physical, continue to make things hard, and then also not turn the ball over. Gives ourselves a chance every possession to put a stamp on the game.
Following up to that, Dylan called you, and he did say that you got a lot of the advice. What are some of that advice you've given Dylan?
I mean, we want him to stay downhill. But I think the biggest thing with this team, and obviously playing this team so much, is just turnovers, being able to take care of the ball. Like I said, whenever we are able to get shots on the rim, that helps us. That helps us with being able to offensive rebound where you may make the shot. And I think when we're limiting our turnovers, especially with him and Steph, obviously they have the ball so much in their hands. When they're limiting their turnovers, it gives us so many more chances because, I mean, that's probably the best team in the league the last 3-4 years and capitalizing on teams' mistakes. And when we don't make many, like that team doesn't beat themselves. So whenever you give them those mistakes, it's tough to win a game.
You've seen Dev block 7-footers a lot during this postseason. You had another pick one tonight. Just what did that do for you guys? Seeing, I mean, he really emoted after that one, which I don't know if we've kind of seen that level of reaction from him before.
It's been huge. I mean, not even just that. Like, he stopped 2-on-1, 3-on-1 fast breaks, and those are plays that you need. Those are big plays that happen throughout the course of a game. And I think when he did that, we might have been up like 4 or 5 points, and then it goes to 11, 12, 13. So being able to stop those kind of momentum shifting, those are plays that really save momentum. And when you're able to get that, and then we go back and score on the other end, I think that's demoralizing for another team.
Hey, now.
Yeah, demoralizing loss for OKC forces a Game 7 in our Western Conference Finals series. And guess what? We have another birthday to celebrate.
Yeah.
Because Carmelo Anthony's birthday is tomorrow.
So I got to put the yeehaw on.
You got to put the yeehaw on. You got to hit us with the yee. You got the brown jacket on.
I need
Look,
the yeehaw.
you got to blow the candles out and everything.
Come on, yeehaw.
Yeah, the
It's the
bop
same
bop
hat.
and the bing
Come on.
bong and whatever you want to call it.
What
Put
you
it
got
on.
for me?
Yeah. Oh, let me get my hand out. There we go.
That boy,
Listen,
Okay, you look clean.
pimping ain't easy.
Looking like the sheriff of NBA
out there,
Showtime.
all my fans, all the supporters of NBC. It's been amazing. May 29th is Gemini season.
Yes, it
you
is.
You already know what it is. Thank you, guys. I'm not going to blow these candles out.
What you going to do?
I'm going to just I'm going to get them out. I can't do that.
This man is a mutant.
Yeah. I can't.
He didn't even flinch.
I can't do that on live television. You know what I'm saying? But the hat is fire. It go with the fit. Thank you, guys, man. Team NBC, we love y'all, man. Thank you.
We love you, brother.
Yeah,
Thank you,
we
guys.
appreciate
Happy
you.
birthday, doggy.
Let's go get you some 1942.
We're going to celebrate.
Hey, about an hour to the
celebration
birthday.
tonight, baby.
All right, that's all the time we have for you. Game 7.
Hey, close up.
It's